Aloha, friends. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's Author Joe Holt. This is another Fireside Chat for you today, guys. It's a live podcast I do here on D Live where I interview other D Live streamers. And today's guest is Katalina-ooma. Welcome.
Hi
Aloha.
guys, welcome to the stream. Thanks so much for joining. I hope you have a chill time,
Yeah,
as usual.
welcome. I'm very excited to have you on. I love having streamers on that do something unique and different. And I've had Axie on the show. Do you know her? XX
Yes,
Axie XXA. She does digital art as
yes.
well.
She's one of
She's
the OGs artists on the platform as well.
exactly. And I was like, I was asking Axie and Dale and different folks that I know on D Live, like, who are some
How
more
did I miss
really
her?
who are some really
Oh my
good
god.
artists on D Live? And your name keeps coming up.
How did I miss her, by the way? I need to. Do you know Axie? Oh, that's a rhetorical question, but for us, because we started as a very small art community.
Oh man, I forgot to turn the alerts down.
Oh, no worries. Oh, we just tested that out, so don't worry
Yeah,
about
no, thanks a lot, Kat.
it. Don't worry about it. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Yeah, we started as a very small community in general, but the art community was like, I don't know, just a couple of friends. You can
Sure,
yeah, you
yeah.
can count on the both hands, and that was it. We were so small at the beginning, and look at us now. It's just amazing.
Well, I would like to talk about that, but first, let's say, or hold on, I'm going to make a list. D Live Art Community. Okay, that's now on the list. There's only two questions, and the rest of the conversation just kind of goes as it goes. The
Hmm.
first question I always ask is your streaming name is Katalina-ooma, and there's a hyphen
Yeah.
in there. So, what does that name mean to you, and how did you come up with it?
Catalina is actually one of my characters' name. At the beginning, that was probably 9 years ago when I was still in my bachelor degree. Me and a colleague of mine, a very sweet person and friend, started a pen and paper stories.
Hmm.
First, we started just as hey, Sarwigi. We started just as stories like talking, and then we started writing them.
Hmm.
And we've created so many different stories in pairs, and this is just one of the characters and one of my favorite characters. And when a friend of mine suggested that I should start streaming, and I started researching how are other people directing to themselves. And this is really interesting. Not many of them were usually using their real names.
Hmm.
And mine is kind of difficult to pronounce. It's not really, it's a short one, but it's not really common outside of my country. So I just decided to go to Carolina because it's I think it's an international name. It's kind of cool.
What do you
I
mind
like it.
telling us your first name?
Yeah, my real name is actually Petya, but
Petya?
uh, yes,
I look at that. I said it right the first time.
you said it perfectly from the first time. It's really, really unusual.
Well,
So,
I'm autistic, so I can hear your tones and inflections a
oh,
little. Like I'm people. It's
if
funny.
I write it, it's
The
gonna be difficult to pronounce.
can you write it in chat?
Yeah,
Would you
sure.
mind? Um, the like you mentioned that you have an ASMR mic, and I laughed because I'd never heard the term ASMR before this year, and I
Me
kind of
too.
right, and I kind of looked into it. I go, what does that mean? And I was
What
like,
is that? Yeah.
oh wait, that's how I live. Like I hear like that all the time, and
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's an autistic thing. It can be overwhelming in large groups,
Hmm.
because you hear every
Yeah.
conversation in the room basically.
Whoa.
Hmm.
That's a gift. I don't know how you accept it, but it's a gift.
It
Hey,
is
welcome
it is a
everyone.
gift. You're right. You're right. It is a gift. So let's see. The second question that I always ask is when did you start streaming and what kind of got you into streaming?
I did basically started streaming last year. Officially, I don't really remember officially. Maybe when I started streaming on DLive. Maybe that was my official like starting point. Because before that, I was a blogger, if you can
Hmm.
say that,
Yeah.
on another platform called Steemit.
Yeah.
And for those of you who know, Steemit was the previous platform, cryptocurrency platform that DLive was on. So D Live was
Mhm.
created on that platform, and it was again a streaming like size, the streaming part of the that website. And later they chose to choose, no, not choose, but just transfer.
Chose right? Yeah.
Yeah, chose to transfer and move from Steemit to the Lino blockchain.
Hmm.
So when I was still on Steemit, I knew about DLive, but only my friends and some of my colleagues were streaming then. I think my camera is blinking. I
Oh,
don't know really.
sometimes that happens a little. It's no big deal. I'll
No,
watch that.
my camera is it's bad,
It's okay.
behaving bad
No,
today.
we're doing great.
So some of my colleagues and fellow friends that was streaming there, they suggested I should try. I wasn't really, uh, I don't know, I felt really uncomfortable.
Hmm.
So I only joined some of their streams as a voiceover. And one of my colleagues just noticed that the numbers of the viewers always were rising when I was, me and some other people were in the voiceover.
Hmm.
So but back then, I was just preparing for my graduation, my PhD graduation. So I said to myself, I'm going to try D-Live once I trade. It turned out that I graduated and they just moved to Lino. So I'm like, damn, my luck. And just follow them. I had to decide back then.
Hmm.
I tried streaming on a second streaming platform that was there, like, what is the word when you say, on I forgot the word. English can be really hard sometimes.
Definitely.
Um, Steam had created their own streaming platform after DLive left,
Oh, I didn't know that.
and this is like not competitor, but yeah, it is kind of competitor now.
Sure,
But
sure.
back then it was someone Vim. Yeah, hey Nick, this is my my actually my student and my colleague as well. So yeah, I decided to try it then. It was really, really bad. I didn't feel comfortable enough. Then I tried Twitch a couple of times and I had 0 to 1 viewer.
Hmm.
And then I said, no, no, maybe I think that's not for me. And for the third time I tried G Life, obviously, I said, I think, oh my gosh, someone's gone. So I decided that this time we'll concentrate on DLife, and on September 27th, I created my Lino account and my DLife account, and after that, everything else is history.
That's awesome. So how do you feel about being here for the mainnet switch?
Pressure. No, I'm just reading the chat. I'm actually really excited. I feel really bad right now because I had to unlock Lino, not because of the moving and the changes on the platform, but because of my own personal reasons. But I look forward to it. And this is the only way, probably, to prove to other people that are not connected to D-Life that Lino and D-Life is not a scam. They're not scam. And I don't know how else to prove that unless say that my second monitor is bought by Lino, my camera is bought by Lino, my headset is bought by Lino. I don't know what else to say and how else to prove them.
I mean, that's
So
amazing. Yeah, because obviously it's not a scam. I don't even know how that conversation even came up, to be honest with you, or started in the first place. Um,
oh, because I've been having these strange conversations at the beginning when I started on G Life, and especially around the PewDiePie hype,
mm,
which was I think around April. And because I did a portrait of PewDiePie and I gained a lot of
oh,
attention back then, many of the people coming to my channel were asking, "Is this a scam? Is
mm,
this a scam?" And I'm like, how would you see that? How would you think that?
right.
It was really kind of difficult back then because I didn't have enough skills and knowledge how to interact with those people, how to answer them properly. Now it's a bit better, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, I never understood the scam conversation either because a scam by its very nature is somebody trying to take money from you without giving you anything in return, right? Or trying to take
Mm,
something from you without returning something. Well, I don't have to pay any money to use DLive. I don't have to
mm,
buy any Lino, or now the new site token will be Lemon, to watch a streamer stream on DLive. I like in no way has D Live or Lino ever asked me for money directly, ever.
No, but I think Sean Hawk is really right with the comment in the chat. The scam talks came from people who didn't earn anything. Well, they came to the platform to earn. That was their first mistake.
Right.
Um, and I think the whole misconception started because usually we're promoting that this is the first streaming platform that you can earn by just watching.
Mhm.
And I think people just got greedy and thought, well, why not just start streaming? I'll earn like everyone else. Well, hey, Vinci. And yeah, and I think even today we have a lot of people coming in multiple streamers chats, including mine, asking how do I make money on D Live? Straight with the question, and which kind of leads you to the question: is there reasons really? Um, I don't know, personal, or is that made by greed, or do they really need the money?
Well, I mean, I like this conversation because I used to have a very polar view, right? A very one-sided view of this, which is I never streamed before D Live. I followed LT Zondo over here from Twitch, and
That's amazing.
yeah, I started streaming because of the community in D Live. I wanted to be a part of it. Like the people were so awesome that I was meeting from all over the world that I thought, I write books, I interview people in real life. I had been for almost 10 years. I could do this on D Live with people all over the world. In the past, I actually had to travel to the people. D Live lets me go all over the world and still stay in my house.
Yes. The comfort of your own home and or your own room is just amazing. I still travel sometimes because now I started teaching lessons to students who are underage and they're not really permitted, or at least they need some guidance to make an account and do streaming on the platform.
Sure.
So, yeah, I
Well,
still have this option,
I want to get into
but
that, but first I want to finish the point, which is my view
Mhm.
was very polar. I did it. I'm hearing myself echo back a lot right now, by the way, on your side. Um,
Really?
mhm.
I don't have anything.
Is the
I
stream
know what you
muted?
mean. Yes, yes,
Okay.
everything is muted, by the way.
Sorry for
I'm
the echo,
only
guys.
hearing you.
So my view of D Live was I wanted to do it to help promote D Live in the community and the streamers on D Live. I wasn't doing it to make money. So I've never cashed out any Lino. I purchase a lot, I lock in a lot, I give away a lot. Now, then I started doing the show and interviewing a good number of streamers who are actually streaming because that's how they pay their bills and make their money. And and for instance, like you were saying, you were buying your equipment with the donations.
Hmm.
So I understand there that streaming is now a job. You can do this full time. You can pay your bills with it.
Yes.
So how do we help new streamers who say, "Hey, I would like to make money from this. I would like to pay my bills with this." How do we keep how do we encourage them? Yeah, still stream, but don't focus on the money as the reason, even though the money would be the reason for them initially.
Yeah, it's really difficult how to explain that because I've never thought that I will have additional income based on streaming. Once I started here, I was focusing on my own, improving my own skills, interaction with people, because I've never knew about streaming before that. I never knew what this deal is. It turned out to be a real deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I live in a very, very small city, in a small, literally small country in general. But um, here, our community is kind of very, how do you say, when it's a very tight and closed and
Mm-hmm.
old fashioned as well. And no one actually was talking about streaming. Only some of the students who I don't really had much connection with. So only the colleague of mine actually, SVDS Dragunov, who you can see in the chat. His real name is Nick, and he was the one who suggested that I should try this. But I've never taken it seriously until one day I realized that I have enough Lino so I can withdraw and improve my quality, because I started with a single monitor. I started with a cheap ass headset. I didn't have a camera. I didn't have even a basic knowledge about how to set up the OBS. And my voice was trembling. I didn't even know how what to show and how to speak in front of the audience. And I had some. Even the first stream, I had 4 viewers, and they were so welcoming. I was like, maybe this is a new way for me to like show my skills, my knowledge, my experience. So yeah, no one. I wouldn't believe if someone was telling me that at this like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that I would be doing this right now.
Hey,
But
you could have told me in December,
yeah,
and I wouldn't have believed you. For me personally, you know.
I agree. So for the new streamers, yes, money is important because at the end of the month you still have to pay bills, and no one will ask you how many jobs you had, how many working hours you've put this month or this week. But if they really want to improve, first they need to concentrate on interaction and connection with people. You're not building money, you're building connections with the people, and this can be done exclusively through emotions and
Hmm.
interaction.
Absolutely.
So there was a guy 2 days ago coming to my stream and asking the same question: how to make money and how to make connections. He was looking for advertisement, for a way to advertise his company, but I was suggesting him to make friends, and that was the best way for him to
Hmm.
have like free advertisement, and also um, maybe future partners like for his company. It's There was a book about trading trademarks, and how trademarks are not built with numbers and the recipients and the clients. They're built with emotions.
Hmm.
So it's a really interesting concept. So this is what I focused on. I was even working for free the first couple of months, and I was making portraits of people and designs for people. I'm still doing it part of the time because it makes me like brings me joy and
Hmm.
satisfaction. But yeah, I'm starting to also concentrate on paid commissions because we have to pay bills in the end. As
Sure.
much as I hate to admit, we're yeah, we're sharing our love and passion and heart, but still we need to pay the bills.
I saw the painting that you did of Sean today. He showed on stream when I mentioned you were going to be on the
Really?
show, and I
Oh my God.
love it.
Which one?
Him
Which
in
one?
the
Because
dress.
oh,
It's amazing. It's so amazing.
that was actually, was it my idea or his idea? I
Oh,
wanted
the
to make a
dress is definitely his idea. You could just tell that's all his idea.
and yeah, look at that. Actually, this two-part piece, the two-part sticker was Pygo's idea. I wanted to make the whole body into one icon, but it was going to look too small. So he said, "Why not doing it like two parts, but
It's
then you have
fantastic.
some space in between." So yeah, it's kind of strange
So,
looking.
question. You said you're from a very small country. Do you mind saying where?
Yes, I do have some of the people from the same country. It's called Bulgaria.
Oh,
It's
well, let's. I've heard of that.
yeah, it's on the balconies, and it's kind of small and strange, but we're all like that. Unique. Let's say unique.
What is your first language?
My first language is Bulgarian,
Okay.
which sounds really close to Russian because we're
Okay.
using the Cyrillic alphabet,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
it's
I
different.
was guessing. I was guessing it would have been Russian, but Bulgarian. Okay.
It's very close to Russian. Some of the words are pretty similar to pronounce, but has different meanings. Jesus,
Now, with the English,
sheesh, English.
did you go to school for English to learn it?
Basically, we have like a second language
Hmm.
since kindergarten. So basically, I started learning English in my kindergarten, and then in primary school. We do have primary school and secondary school. The educational system is a bit different because we graduate at the age of 19. 18/19. And after that, we don't have colleges, we have universities. So,
Now, what would you consider the difference? Because in my mind, those words are interchangeable. College versus
well, as far
university.
as I know, at the in USA you have high school, and then you have college,
Well, we
and
have
then you have something else. But I don't know about the.
well, there's high school, and
Y-
then everything else is optional, which would be there is something called community college, which would only be 2 years,
Really?
so you could get an associate's degree. But if
Oh,
college or
interesting.
university, I believe you could use them interchangeably, and you could do bachelor's, master's, and then
Hmm.
obviously doctorate through advanced study.
Yeah. So I don't know if we have colleges here. Maybe private colleges. I
Hmm.
think. I'm not sure because they're really expensive, and I don't um I
Now,
don't
did
have
I hear
the.
you correctly when we were talking prior or during even you have a
Mhm.
PhD?
Yes, I
That's
graduated
incredible.
last year, and this is the reason why I wasn't really sure when to start streaming.
Mm,
Bravo. Dale is using that icon a lot, the animation. It's not really a big deal. It just took me a lot of time to achieve it, and
that's why it's a
most
big
of
deal.
my nerves, a lot of my nerves. I sometimes feel regret about that, but it's an experience that you can't gain anywhere else unless you confront this part. It's a really interesting concept because even today I'm sure, and I still say that. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for the follow. Sorry. Uh, I'm still saying that educational system is corrupted. It's
Mm,
bad. It
hmm.
needs to
Same thing in the
change,
United States.
improve. Uh, but the only way to do that is when you go inside and be part of the system. Because I've tried change it outside, it doesn't really happen any. So I tried change it from the inside, but then I got into a lot of I met a lot of problems with most of my colleagues because of the age, because of the difference in the mindset and their, how should I say, um, how they expect to live un, until the rest of their lives. It's just so difficult. I thought this they stole it already. No, Ivan. No, the corruption is everywhere, especially in the universities, because they're working. This is really, don't quote me on that, but they're working on a lot of European projects, and you know what's happening after that.
Well, also,
It's just
don't get yourself in trouble.
no, everyone knows that.
Okay.
It's a uh, it's in all spheres. It's not really in education,
So, not to be
but yeah.
presumptuous, but is your degree, your doctorate in art?
It's actually in design. That's why I don't consider myself an artist because I've never had.
Wait, wait, wait,
Yeah,
wait,
this
wait, wait, wait,
this
wait,
is really interesting.
wait,
I've
wait.
never been
Kat
on any.
just said, I don't consider myself an artist.
Yes, that's true.
You guys
That
heard that,
is,
right? You guys heard that.
yeah,
You
that's
heard
true,
that?
and I will explain why. I don't just stay until the end because I have a lot to talk about this. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
usually I have a lot of fights about this. Design is different from art. Let's have this straight. Design is very different from art. Being an artist, oh my god, Ivan just made it. Thank you, Ivan. Jeez. Yeah. Oh my god. So, for Sean, just to get this right, this is a little bit off topic. His name is pronounced Ivan. Ivan,
Ivan.
not Ivan. Yeah, not Ivan, not John, not anyone else. It's Ivan. It was like something we were discussing in Sean's. Eva. No, 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 not Eva. Ivan. So I thought, quote me. No, don't quote me. Oh my god. You guys, yeah, this is how usually my streams are. I'm starting to explain something and then they just, let's keep it Ivan. Okay, okay. It's really
Now,
difficult. Bulgarian names are difficult to pronounce.
I do understand on some level what you mean, because I went to college on and off for 10 years. Well, I mean, I went to college for 10 years, but on and off for quite a while. And for art, for photography, sculpture, three-dimensional art and design, conception, right? Logo
Mm-hmm.
design,
Mm.
commercial art, things like that.
Yeah, I had pretty
But
much the same, but it was under the industrial design
oh,
department.
okay. And
So the name is kind of
I
difficult.
consider myself an artist not because of any of the schooling that I have, but because I make art.
Yes, if you explain it, if you look at it from this perception, yes, that's true. But if you look at it from the degrees perception, no,
I'm not an
no,
artist. I don't have any
I've,
degrees.
yeah, me too.
I
I've
mean,
never been to any art lessons. Well, maybe
you
just
have a
for,
doctorate, you have a
but that's
PhD,
industrial design.
and in,
That is industrial design. This is really interesting. When I was back in bachelor degree, yeah, bachelor degree and master's degree,
mhm,
we were learning about graphic design, interior design, like small portions of like every section of design,
mm,
even how to build websites, web design. Um, what was that? Preparing materials for printing.
mm.
So even that,
That's
which
an
includes
interesting point
in
because I used to build
InDesign.
websites too, and I would have never. If I think about it, it is artistic, but I wouldn't necessarily consider that art.
Exactly. Even we were using Photoshop
Mm,
primarily for design. So no one actually told me and taught me how to use Photoshop for painting. We were learning about color combinations, color design, like color science, because it is a whole science,
mm,
about composition, about traditional sketching and both technical sketches, how to do technical sketches if you want to start building industrial product.
mm.
But no one actually told us about pure art.
So, like
Maybe we had
blueprint
one.
design, would that be?
We didn't use that word. What do you mean by blueprint? Maybe.
Those are the papers that are used by builders to build, and the designer is the one that creates them, the blueprints. So if you're gonna
Yes.
build it, so that's what you were designing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That also. So never actually had in any of the lessons how to paint. So I just combined the knowledge that I've gathered from the different sections, from the different lessons, and use them to make my own art. So my own style. And
So
it's still
you're a
improving.
self-taught artist.
Yes, technically, yes,
And do you prefer digital art mediums?
definitely. I rarely do traditional art. I do enjoy it because the feel of the paper is just, and the
Hmm.
pen is just unreplaceable.
I like
But
getting
digital,
charcoal and paint on myself.
yes.
That's like,
Not myself, but on
yeah, I
paper.
mean,
Yeah,
on my hands
definitely.
and stuff while I'm doing it. I like it.
Yeah, that's also really, really interesting. But digital art provides you with so many different options that traditional would never do. It never will.
Mm.
But also, digital cannot replace traditional entirely.
So some would say, some would say
Hmm.
that digital art, not the same as like
Yeah,
painting and
I've heard of
canvas
that.
and museums and.
Even I had two lecturers about design and art. We did have two of them. They were trying to like teach us some of the styles, traditional mediums, only traditional. And when I tried to explain to them that I was kind of getting
Do
into
what
the
you want 'cause the
digital
pirate
area,
is free. You are
and
a pirate.
they
You're a
basically
pirate.
condemned me
Being free
because
is a
they
pirate is a
didn't
right.
believe
Do
in the
what you want
digital
'cause the
media,
pirate is
and
free. You are a
even to
pirate.
this day, it's been 10 years since that conversation of ours. They don't want to learn, and they still think it's a cheating method. It's a way for someone to cheat the system and to imitate um, art and artists, which I don't believe, because Uh, yeah, people are working on AI, but so far the digital software is just a tool.
Mhm.
It does not create art by itself.
Right.
You're the one who's using the tool and its assets to build a piece of art. So if you're not using your brain, your hand, nothing else is happening. And this is obvious thing that they don't really concentrate on.
Now, I can tell you from just watching you create art on D Live, I, as a painter who have had all those classes and taken, right, all those years to do that, I can't paint with
Do what
oil
you
or
want, 'cause the
acrylic
pirates
or
are
any
free. You
other
are a
and
pirate.
match the
You're
quality
a
Me
that
too.
you're
pirate.
creating.
Being a pirate
I've
is
never
a
used
sin. Do
oil
what you want,
paint,
'cause the
by the
pirates are
way.
free. You
I
are
only
a pirate.
tried dry chalk, and I think that's how you pronounce it. Because I don't know how, I do know how it's called in my
Pastels.
pastels.
Hmm.
Uh, it's the dry ones that you
Oh,
can
okay.
basically smudge with your fingers.
Sure,
So
sure.
that,
That's
yeah,
chalk. That's just colored chalks. Yeah. Or
okay.
charcoals.
Charcoal, yeah, I've used those, but I've never used oil paints or
Mm.
acrylics. So now I have the option to use them because I have the digital um, instruments, and they're so similar. They're basically imitating the process, and
Mm.
it's really interesting.
But
Yeah.
I think a good point to make here would be for me as an autistic artist, like I said, a big part of why I like making art is because it's tactile.
Hmm.
Where with digital art, it's it's more in your brain. So I think it could be left side, right side brain conversation had here.
Yeah, I know about that. I
Let's talk
actually
about it.
study. Yeah, well, some people can don't really condemn, but they are disagreeing with this theory. I
They're wrong.
just I more like accept my brother is sneezing. I more like accept the other, like something in between the two theories. Like we have so many, how do you say, places in the brain that you can't really separate. Yeah, you can separate the two halves of the brain, but there are centers like in the brain that they're more of the right side and more to the left side. So in my study, I was more explaining like left oriented side and right oriented side. So I think for me, this is like a better explanation than just divide it with an axe and say like this is the right and this is the left. Yeah, it doesn't really happen that. But I think it's more appropriate to say left oriented and right oriented. But I do know about that. It's really interesting concept. Still believe that's true.
Well, I've had some major traumatic brain injuries, and mainly to the right side, the right frontal lobe, the right hemisphere, and the left backside of my cerebellum, and it affected speech, it affected motor skills, walking, things like that. But it did not affect my art at all. There were times where I couldn't hold a conversation, but
Mhm.
I could make what I thought was better art than before. Like it made me, I quit worrying. I think it's the right frontal lobe damage actually, because that controls your basically your ability to be politically correct, right? To think about something before you do it or before you say it. I'm very
Mhm.
impulsive now with after this brain damage, so I'm
So you're
more
more
likely to
emotional.
create the art. What's that?
Yeah, you're more emotional than logic thinking.
Well, what's interesting about that statement is now it is correct. Even though I'm an autistic person and we don't think emotionally, we think logically and linear. Um, when an autistic person hears new information, they actually go to the pattern matching portions of their brain first, where with the neurotypical person, they go to the memory centers of their brain first.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing about my brain damage is it actually made me more neurotypical in
Yeah.
terms of that way.
Although I've read some articles about researchers who admit that even with people that don't have any brain damage, like they're just normal people, I don't know if normal is appropriate word in this
Right.
situation,
We're
because
just
I don't want
trying
to
to.
offend anyone. Uh, it's just someone who hasn't been damaged in any way.
Neurotypical would be the clinical.
Neu- Is that the clinical
Yeah,
word? Okay.
neurotypical.
So
Yeah.
the neurotypical people, they make decisions based on emotions, even if they're
Correct.
trying to prove that, or not prove that, but cover that with some logic and like formal logic and memories. Even this cannot take away the fact that we are making decisions based on purely on emotions. That's why we have, I think, three different kinds types of brain, and the one that is like in the smallest one, I think it's I don't know how to describe it, but it's um behind, like in I don't really know where to explain that and how to explain it in English, but yeah, the smallest one is actually the one from our ancestors, and it's basically activating only
Is that the
when we have
hippocampus?
I think so. Yeah, it's only reacting on danger, stress, and that feel of to save yourself if you're in a danger, like dangerous situations.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's so much into brain and brain
I mean,
activity
that
and how
seems more
brain
like
works.
the cerebellum actually controls like your more animalistic,
Yeah, the primal instincts that we usually try to exclude in most conversations. Yeah, the
right?
lizard brain, exactly. But I don't know if you know. Oh my God, one of my students just followed. Totally is
The
one of
medulla
my students.
oblongata, controls, right? Doesn't that control the more of the physical stuff where the cerebellum controls
Mhm.
functions like
So,
balance, vision?
mhm. I don't know if you know, but you can still create brain cells, neurons, until like till the rest of your life if you have a proper like dieting and exercising and
Now,
active life.
is
When
it
I
true
grew
when
up,
you say that the brain is like a muscle, or is it
yes,
muscle?
I
So,
think it is a muscle. And but when I was growing up, I was told that you were born with a certain amount of neurons that are dying like
mm-hmm.
from a certain age on. And
I heard that as a young
and
person too. Yeah.
and now it's not true. Yes, neurons are dying if you're not training them as well as every muscle in
Right.
your body, but you can build new ones because this is how memories form. Although,
Well, I can tell you
you,
for a fact that you can because my brain damage, I can talk fine now.
yeah,
Clearly I can
you're
walk fine
learning.
now.
You're not only learning, but you are creating new neurons and synapses. I don't know if that's pronounced properly. But yeah, connections to the neurons, and you're doing maybe better than before.
Maybe
And
arguably.
also, yeah, and you're not only that, you're concentrating on the parts of the brain that and improve them even more. And it's really, really amazing. The thing with the brain, as with every part in the body, is that you cannot monitorize this thing 24/7. When you go to a doctor, the doctor is taking like a picture, which is a still moment in life. So it doesn't really, cannot really tell you what is the brain function and how the brain functions like throughout your whole life. So that's why they don't know. I've read so many books about brain and how to, especially there was one really interesting, how to to build a brain, and still there's so many flaws in this theory because yeah, it's a lot more complicated than we think.
I mean,
Oh,
my third book was called "Your Brain is the Key to the Universe,"
yes, that's true. I
and
believe it as well.
it was less about like how the brain works on a biological level and more about how you can use your perception and thoughts to manifest your ideal reality.
Hmm. That's why I'm really careful what I think, because the thought can be really, really powerful
Well,
instrument.
Yeah, the thought creates the possibility of the reality, and your words and
Yes.
actions actually manifest it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Exactly.
it does start in the brain.
Yeah, everything starts in the brain.
Now I see some
That's,
folks have mentioned gut health and gut brain. Yes, I believe you have one, and it controls a lot of the your chemicals in your brain that control emotions. But it's different in that you're not processing conscious thought with your gut.
yes, I agree. Because in the gut, you have a lot of the like viruses and bacteria that basically is controlling your whole body, like this equilibrium in your body. So if there's something wrong, it's gonna start in your gut. So, but when it comes to a conscious, like building consciousness, I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe I need to research about that. This is a really a new topic for me.
Actually, if you're going to study consciousness, and this is going to sound insane, but I'm not scared of sounding crazy, um, you go within. You're not going to find the answer to consciousness in an external format. Because your answer is subjective to your perception.
Hmm.
So if you want to understand your consciousness and your perception of reality, that's an internal thing, not an external thing.
Yes, that's true. In if you notice, even that the same is for helping people. You do not help people; they let you help them, or they let you help them in a way so that they can help themselves. But they have to let you, otherwise, it's not a help.
Yeah, I
So
forget who the quote was
everything,
from, but it's basically that good teachers don't actually teach information, they
no,
teach the student how to think for themselves.
exactly. Exactly. If they're not ready, it's how we explain this. But I knew it. This is really interesting. I didn't talk. No, I didn't teach that, and I didn't learn that. It's in school. I learned it outside of school.
Me too.
Just another strange thing. But basically, if you don't have the eyes, well, we say it eyes, but because the eyes are the window to the soul, we are explaining it in the way that if you are not ready to accept this thing in yourself, no one else will accept it for you because you need to let things happen. You need to believe, and you maybe you have to have the right mindset. I don't know if this was brought in this time and on this stream, but I used to be a very introverted person, and I used to have very dark thoughts,
Mm,
very negative thoughts, and I was really asking myself, why are negative things happening to me?
mm.
Yeah, until I got to the point when actually I realized, well, they're happening because I'm expecting them. I want to see them, and this is the only thing I see.
It's
And
true.
how should I receive better things, and why I was always asking, why are other people having better luck than me, or having better things than me? Well, this is the answer. Answer was inside. Change your inside, and everything outside will change as well.
Yes, and I don't know who said it, but whether you think I think maybe it was Yoda, but whether you whether you think you can or you think you cannot, either way you're correct.
Yeah, yeah, it's because you want to see that.
Now that's a good point. I see in chat negative things and thoughts happen to everybody. That's true.
Yeah,
However,
it's how you see it,
your
how you perceive it.
perception of the event
Yeah.
exactly is what determines your reality, not the event itself.
Hmm.
Right? You lose your job. Oh, that's terrible. Well, is it? Because maybe you've been thinking about starting your own company for the last year, and when you do, you're going to be wildly successful.
Yeah,
Right?
the
So
same
again,
happened for me,
it happened. Really, what
actually.
happened? What was
Yeah,
your
this spring, I you could say I lost my job because the boss or my client who was living and still living and working in Germany, I was working for him for the past 2 years from my home, from the comfort of my home. So he called. I think this April or May, to say that he's going to put the project on hold, but indefinitely. I don't know if that's the proper word, but he
Uh-huh.
didn't actually tell me when this project is going to reopen again. So basically, I was left without any monthly income. And around this time, I was also streaming, but I never actually considered taking commissions from people
Mm.
and doing most of the paintings just like for the fun, for free. And only after that, I realized and I started asking myself, is this really bad? Because right now, I'm working mainly on commissions and streaming, and I feel really comfortable. And probably one day I will start my own company. We'll see if that will work as well. I'm just curious, and now I want to learn so many other things, including crypto trading.
Well,
So
you're about to get a chance.
yeah,
If you
yeah.
have locked
I was
Lino.
this is really awesome because I was telling myself, and I also told Pygos because he's one of the crypto gods here on the platform. I told him I want to learn crypto trading this winter, and I will practice it with a small amount just to see if this will happen. And bam, a week after that, Lino announced that they're going on mainnet.
Yep.
So
Ju-
careful what you wish for, kids, because
You may just get
yes,
it.
yes, exactly. Is no matter what it is, it can always happen.
Now,
Is that
to timestamp this interview, it's October 22nd, 2019. Well,
mhm,
you have until October 25th, so 3 days. If you lock in your Lino, it's going to roll over to the mainnet as cryptocurrency. If you do
yeah.
not have your Lino locked in, it will be converted to the new site token, which is called Lemons, and it'll be worth exactly the same price, 1.2 pennies.
Mhm. I think if it's still locked in, it's gonna transform into stacked Lino, but I'm not sure. If it's a liquid Lino, it's gonna transform into lemons. But if it's still locked, I think it's gonna transform into stacked Lino. But don't quote me on that. Still not really sure. It will get stacked. Yeah, I think it will transform directly into stacked Lino.
Right, right, exactly. Staked. By the way, the
Staked?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because stacked
Okay.
is to put things on top of each other, and staked,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and staked
See?
is the term to lock in Lino.
Oh, okay. You learn
Yeah,
something new every
and
day, which is
staked.
really.
Do you see how they spell staked in the chat? If
Yeah,
you add a
without C.
C, yeah, between A and
It's gonna.
K, that's stacked.
Do what you
Oh,
want,
so it's
Mr.
gonna be
Pirate,
stacked.
free
Yeah,
Oh my
your
God,
exactly.
are,
Zonda!
pirate.
Haha, my buddy Luke's in here.
How you been, Zonda? And please tell me you became a validator.
Um, Actually, we could ask him. Hey, Zonda, we were just chatting about rolling over the Lino, on the end of this month, and we're wondering, are you going to be a Lino validator? Are you working on that? Because we want to vote for you.
Yeah, we want to.
We want to. I have a question
I
about the D Live art community, Miss Cat.
okay.
When I started on D Live uh, back at the beginning of the year 2019, there wasn't a D Live art community. I mean, not really, but there was a couple of art streamers, but the D Live art Discord, right? The D Live art community Discord,
The D
the
Life Creative.
there you
Yeah.
go. That's definitely grown exponentially throughout the year. So could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think it was definitely last year, but I don't remember which month exactly. Uh, a friend of mine, a fellow streamer and a very good artist, his name is Megili Arts. So he's one of the OGs on the platform, and not only on DLive on Lino, but only on DLive when it was still on Steemit,
Mm.
the Steemit blockchain. And he
No,
asked me, Shadow Fox,
no.
which is now one of the DLive team members, and Lethal Toast. After that, Radioactive was the fifth, I think, fifth person that joined. So we became the so-called DLive Creative Ambassadors. because we were visiting back in the days a lot of art streams. We were talking with the people. We wanted to build like an art community, but also a place where people can feel comfortable, like a family, and without any harsh criticism, because people can judge art. Everyone can judge art, even if they have no idea what art is.
Right.
uh, so we wanted to build this community so that it's self-sustained, even after we are not really that active. I myself am not really that active there anymore, so maybe I will resign this position. We'll see. Is there a link to the channel? Which channel? The G Life
To the
Creative Discord channel?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, we do have. I need to look for it though.
Dale,
So yeah,
Why
and
don't you find that for us so Kat doesn't have to?
yeah, yeah, he can do a lot of things. Go
So,
on, Dale.
Kat, how are there other D Live streamers? Like you said, you're new to streaming with besides D Live, and you are not a gamer. You don't consider yourself a gamer. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm a noob gamer.
A noob gamer.
Extremely.
So that's okay.
Yeah,
That's okay.
yeah.
Now,
And that is how I build this part of my channel. Extreme noob gaming.
now I have a question about a particular video game.
Oh, okay.
I'll give
Okay.
you one guess. I'll give you one guess. You guess. What video game would I ask you about?
Okay. Give it a try.
It's the one. It's no. You guess. You guess which video game I'm going to ask you about. It's the only one I've heard you talk about repeatedly
Yeah, I know. I know.
in your
Several
chat.
times. Because I was a huge fan of this is really interesting. Why I know about this game that you are talking about. The game that you're talking about is called Cyberpunk 2077. But
Yes.
the reason, yes, the game that I've been waiting for like 6 years now.
That's
But the
right.
reason I knew about this game is because prior to that, I got into this cyberpunk style, and in another game called Deus Ex Human Revolution. And so far, this is my favorite game. But Cyberpunk has amazing characters and amazing storyline. I hope I can play next year. And one of the things that really caught my eye was the end of the first trailer that I saw 6 years ago. Uh, will be ready when it's ready. So no, no coming soon. No, like we'll see you in a year or two. No, it's well, you'll play it when it's ready. Basically,
Hopefully not 2077.
I really hope that
Oh,
because I'm gonna be really, really old. The graphics will be really old. It's not gonna be 2077 style.
I hope. Man,
It's
that's
gonna be 2018 style in 2077, so it's gonna be really retro. Oh my god!
so.
But
What games
welcome.
do you play, or are you playing, regardless of whether you're streaming them or not? Like, what do you enjoy gaming?
Right now, I'm enjoying one game in particular, which is called Warframe,
Okay.
and that game is also really amazing. They're gonna release like a new graphics and new missions, new characters as well. But the game was suggested by really cool friends and also D-Life guardians, and also it was suggested by Shadow Fox and Callisti. I think you know her. Zero Other Games. They were really helping at the beginning because I had no idea what to do. Because I don't have any experience, I used to not control my life, but I used to concentrate on studies and work most of my life, and the rest was just, nah, I can do without it. So
Well,
if I didn't have that many friends who were playing, so I
hmm.
wasn't really that interested.
Well,
Now I see that
something that
sorry.
I'm interested in is you said you've, and I've talked with a lot of streamers about this, like mental health issues and stuff. You said you
Hmm.
used to be really dark and have really dark thoughts and be really
Yeah.
reclusive and withdrawn. You're clearly doing better, right? How?
Yes,
Like, there are
definitely.
plenty of people in this world who are stuck right now who, like, I don't know how to get out of this. Like, what little things did you do to help yourself?
It was really interesting because it all started, I think, in high school. This dark, not goth-like style, more like depressed-like style.
I know what you mean.
and and it started because I've always been chubby. I've always been overweight,
Hmm.
and I've always been bullied since probably since primary school. But back then, I was a really lively kid, and I was defending myself really good. Now that I think about back then, I was really strong person, and no one dared to actually confront me, not physically though. But when I started my high school years, maybe it was because of the teenage hormones and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Dark thoughts are going around your head and inside your head, and I had a lot of thoughts, including suicidal. This is I can share that right now because back then I didn't want to express that, and I live in a society, especially in a family that we and I primarily used to grow up with this like a rule in my family. Everything you do stays in the family, within the family. No, nothing else is showed up on people and outside of the apartment, outside of the home, because you need to keep that facade and face, and you don't do anything to ruin your name in front of people.
Mm.
And yeah, even my grandmother, I still remember her sentence was, please don't say anything because people will say something. People will talk about you, and you don't want them to talk about bad things. Now I realize that this is, sorry, complete bullshit.
Mhm.
It is because you tend to hide everything and all your psychological problems, and you don't even have the courage to say that you need help. So you don't know how to receive help. You don't even know what options do you have. And everything started when I graduated bachelor degree. So this is how many years have passed. So this was growing. I was living in isolation, but basically I didn't showing. I had friends, I had colleagues, I had family members, but I wasn't able to express what I had in me. So uh, maybe 5 or 7 years ago, I started working as a designer in a game company. And one of my colleagues back then, she was going through the same stage and she was reading a lot of books about self improvement and self. I don't really know how this is called in
Self
English.
improvement
Yeah,
or
and
self help.
how self-help
Hmm.
mostly,
I
and
don't.
how to improve your own personality so
Sure.
that you try and um, solve those problems because you are the one who can solve it. No, yes, people can help you, people can guide you, but they cannot solve the problems for you. So uh, she was the first one who actually helped me realize that it's okay to be open about this, and it's okay to say and admit that you need help. And there is nothing wrong with that. If you feel down, if you feel out of shape, if you feel betrayed or just empty and alone, you can just say it and share it, and no one will judge you for that because it's a basic human emotion, and it's part of the of your character and part of your growing. Like
Hmm.
the only way for you to grow this and go, um, I forgot the sentence, how to overcome this is by admitting it. This is the first stage. So this is how I started asking her about the books, like self-motivating and motivational
Hmm.
uh, books, and also motivational videos and stuff like that. But then I realized that those are methods that were working for the people. So if I want
Right.
to have, yeah, and they were working for a certain amount of time, for a certain period of time for those people
Right.
with their conditions and their
Exactly.
way of life. So,
That's a very
so I had,
important point. Like as an
yes,
author, as a person who writes books to try to help people,
yeah,
I do not write self help books and will not ever. And there's a specific reason why, and it's because I would have to meet you first and learn about you and your
Mhm.
problems and your perception to be able to write a book for you that would actually be helpful. And at that
And
point,
you
that's
still
called
don't
counseling.
know. Yeah, but you still don't know if that book will work,
Right, exactly,
because
exactly.
the conditions are always changing, and
Yes,
um
yes.
I forgot the word again, but the place that you're living is different. They
Mhm.
even books about economy don't really work every time, because I read a lot about what was that uh, financial education. I don't know if you heard Robert
Hmm.
Kiyosaki,
Robert,
because yeah,
financial planning.
yeah, even that doesn't work in my country because the economy is different, and the yeah. So but it was a very good opportunity to open my eyes. What are the money? What is money? How the money is circulating? What different types of income there is? So that was a huge lesson. But from that point on, I was the one who was actually looking for options how to improve my way of living, my income, my personality. So everything depends on us. Um,
Absolutely. There,
the
what you said something though earlier, which I want to reiterate, which is it's when you do feel down, it's nice to have friends and have like D Live is a great place because you can
yes,
communicate with other people and they're very the worst thing when you feel that way is to think you're alone and that nobody cares, right? That you're suffering
mhm,
silently. So that
yeah,
first of all, you can take care of that by reaching out to your friends. But also
exactly.
when you feel that way, learn ways to help yourself feel better. Like for me, I have major depressive disorder and the brain damage actually made it worse. And so when I feel morose or depressed, right, where like a major depression coming on, I go outside more. I get more sunshine. I try to get more exercise. I try to eat healthier. Right, I actually start taking steps to improve my situation instead of staying in it, and that's something I
Yeah.
had to learn over time.
Exactly. Because you want to change. You want that change to happen in you. Some people do not want that. They're complaining for the sake of complaint.
Hmm.
But when you try to explain the fact that they really need to embrace the thought of change, and after that, and put effort and time
Right.
and a lot of energy to get out of it, but after that, it gets easy. Like right now, the past few weeks, I was also going through this kind of dark stage, and I wasn't feeling like streaming. But when I got to overcome this and started streaming again, I realized that it was helping me. It had this really um, improving. It was helping me, like healing me in a way, because people in my stream is in my channel are really amazing and very supportive as well. Also, which is really interesting, that I'm really humble. I don't know. I mean, I'm but more like not humble, but blessed. Because they're coming. People are coming and sharing their problems as well, which
Mm.
is really important. And to be able to share their problems means that they feel enough security, like security coming from you, and um, they believe in you. So
Yes, but also let me warn you,
I'm honored. This is the word that I was looking for. Honored
honored is a
for
good word.
yeah.
Well, there's two things I want to say. One, yes, I feel the same way. I know Sean Hawk's really good about stuff like that. You're really good about it. There's a lot of streamers who you can go talk to. Drew you is definitely one of those guys. If you need, if you need to talk. But as a streamer, this a part of what we do with this show is to try to help other people who maybe want to be streamers and don't really know about streaming and are looking for
Mhm.
not only technical help, but what's it like to be a streamer. So there is one thing that you do need to look out for, and that is energy leeches, people that want to steal your energy. So they're not
Oh yeah.
necessarily looking for help. They just want to take your energy. They want to hijack your stream and change the energy present. So it
Hmm.
is important that if you get somebody who is just toxic, you don't want to expose the rest of your chat and your viewers and friends to that. So it is okay to delete and mute people if you need to, right? We're not going to do that if you just come in and the first thing you've ever said, right, was, "Hey, I need help." We're going to try to help you,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
also protect yourself, because there are people online in the world who they just are trying to bring you down.
That's true. And the only way for you to get used to that or know how to react in those types of situations is by having them all the time and create this skill of sensing them
Mm.
um, based on the comments that they're typing. Because this is really interesting. At the beginning, I had no idea how to deal with people in general. Most of the times I couldn't really understand the questions, the comments, because of the English barrier, the language barrier. In the times where I did, uh, I was trying to make a decent conversations, but even sometimes I'm going into that type or stage when I am not really sure how to interact with them and how to deal. And I hate muting people. That's why I have good mods. This is the place, and a lot of the things were taught by Shadowfox and Radioactive and Dale because they were with me from the very beginning. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here today. It wouldn't be the person and the streamer because believe me, I still not consider myself a streamer, but I am. And one of the things, this is really interesting topic. One of the things that I am trying to explain to my friends and family, because they don't believe in me as a streamer. They don't really know what a streamer means.
Mm.
Streamer is a reason. Maybe I should write an article for that. It's really interesting topic. Being a streamer is not only someone staying in front of the camera. Being a streamer, you have to be entertainer, you have to be psychologist, you have to be promoter, you have to know how to speak, how to interact with people, how to present your information and knowledge, how to be everything this in one
A
package,
computer
and a good
software engineer.
exactly, and a designer, and also last but not least, an incredible personality. So it's the character, it's the person that drives and people and makes them stay and his stream. Yes, you can have good quality overlay and animations and um, like camera and microphone and stuff like that, but it's the person and his character that is um, helping people and make them stay even the next stream and the third and the fourth stream after that
Hmm.
is to show them yeah, this is the yeah, this is the yeah.
Some
My
people
colleagues
come into
trolling.
my stream just to watch my beard grow, so that's fine with me.
Really?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's yeah, I can't do that. Obviously, you have something that I don't, so you have to be proud of that. Yeah.
Actually, what's funny is I did not. This is how you can tell how long I've been on D Live. I didn't have a beard when I started.
Oh, look at how
I've never had a
adventurous
beard my
guys.
whole life, and then I started streaming on D Live, and now look at me. So, oh, Sean Hawk, if you're still listening, it works. Sean said he joined D Live because he heard it will grow your hair. It does. It works, man. I don't know what you're doing wrong, but it
Well,
works.
maybe he needs to point out, or you need to point out where exactly you need the hair to be growing.
That's a
Yes,
good point.
that's a good point. Maybe
That's a
he
good
wants
point.
to grow on a place that it's not supposed to grow.
Yes, well,
And that don't forget that's his charm. Like people go there to
that's true.
see him
Oh my
go.
God, I
It's
love me
just
some Sean Hawk. That boy is amazing. He's
yeah.
also been on Fireside Chats.
Yes, and
Yep.
I think that was the first time when I saw you and your stream.
Oh, okay.
and it
Yes.
was really amazing. And my second thought, the first thought was like, "Oh my God, this is so amazing," and this my second thought was, "How can I go there? How can I join this panel?"
I
And
wish you see. Okay, so I love that you said that because I have streamers say to me all the time, "How come you never invited me to be on the show?" Because there's a million of you.
yes,
Contact me
and
directly on Discord, Author Joe Holt, and say, I want to be on Fireside Chats. That's how you get on
maybe
Fireside
that,
Chats.
that's one of the options. The second option is probably an already.
Is
How can you? Yeah,
say again?
uh,
I didn't understand you.
probably an already to be invited.
Oh well, yeah.
Because a couple of months ago, I was thinking about it, but the thought that I can DM you personally wasn't on my list.
mm,
So
mm.
maybe that showed that I wasn't ready, and yeah,
Sure,
and
sure. No, and I've like some folks. It's literally 6 months we've been trying to work out a date to get them on the show. Some people, it's like, well, what are you doing in an hour? And then we start the show.
yeah,
I'm medically retired, and I'm a full time streamer, and I live alone, so I can do any stream, any day, anytime. Like when I did Axie's stream, she's in Borneo, I think, and it was like 3 a.m. for me to do a stream with her in the afternoon, which is
wow,
which is the only time she could do it. I'm like, okay, fine, let's do it. You
yeah,
know. So I really
this,
appreciate you being able to work with me and get on the show. There is, I think we have a 6 hour or 8 hour. We have an 8 hour
8
time
hours.
difference.
Yeah, difference.
Mm.
I was really glad because usually this is my usual streaming time, and it's the best, like the most comfortable time.
Mhm.
But I really miss Taxi. I'm so
Well,
now I
you
regret
know why
because
she's
this
been
is one
off?
of
She said it's
the
because
movies.
she's working on her master's degree and teaching,
Yes,
which is
yes,
amazing. She's a very talented artist. If you guys don't know, if somebody could link her channel, just Dale, if you could link her channel,
you
she's
can.
not actively streaming as much as she has been. But if you guys are into art and you're into being creative and you're into D Live and streaming, you need to know about Axie. It's actually XXX Axie XXX with
Yeah, yeah.
business in the middle, but yeah, she's studying for her master's. So I have a question that it's something you said just very briefly in passing. You were a video game designer at some point?
Yeah, well, that's part of my life that I don't really like to talk about. It's
Oh,
not
I'm
because I
sorry.
wasn't feeling. No, no, no. It actually, wifey. Oh my God, Sir Wiki. It's actually not something to be ashamed of. It's a part of the economy that people usually don't really consider proper because we're talking about not the our games like computer games. We're talking about casino games. So that's another type of the industry. The
Interesting.
yeah,
So
and
you mean like the software for slot machines or
yes, exactly.
digital card
Reels.
machines? Oh,
Yeah,
well,
we were
I used to work for Harris Casino and did
really.
video machine repair.
So you know about the real slot machines? Is
Yeah, the
those?
idea with the random number generators and
Yes.
technically it could never
He
actually
knows
be
everything. Oh
random,
my.
but yeah.
Yeah, it's not random, but we're not supposed to say that.
Shh.
So yeah, because the how do you say the ancestors of the real slot machines were these physically, well, how are those called, that are rotating? So you push a lever and these things start rotating, and if you have like cherries or sevens or diamonds, like three in a row, then you win something. Basically, the I don't really know if they manufacture these machines.
Well, they used
Oh,
to be just
now,
purely mechanical, and now they're
yes,
digital,
now they're
right?
digital. So
Analog versus digital.
in my city, there's only one game company, and that's this game company that it's making.
I see, I see.
Yeah, so I wanted to work in this area, but I wasn't really sure what types of games they were making. So I went there to substitute for a colleague in their team, but they liked me. So 2 months after that, I started working for them. How do you say, on a proper contract? So I worked for them for I think 5 years with a bit of a break in between because I took a break to start my PhD studies and then went back to working. And I was trying to work and have my studies at the same time, which is it was really really difficult. But I learned a lot of stuff, a lot of things about making games and starting. We started always with a scenario. We had character design, we had sheets, and then we were doing basically what every company, game company, is going through. All the stages until you came up with a final product. The only difference is that our machines, or my previous company's machines, were not mechanical. I mean, those rotations, the reels were not mechanical, they were digital,
Hmm.
and we were imitating basically,
Exactly.
um, yeah, this the movement of the reels. That is why you create the random generator, the so-called random generator.
The RNG.
Yeah. Examples?
Well, hey, we'll
I
get
can't.
into Dale. Calm down. You're not running this show. I'll come over there. I will find you. I
Oh
will
my
find
God.
you, Dale. No,
Uh,
I actually I would like to see some of your art if it's easy, but because it's digital, it may not be that easy. She would have to show you something,
Yeah,
on
I
the
can
wall.
show you. Yeah,
Um,
something I have to put take on off the wall.
but I would love to see something if you would like to show. I mean, Dale's right. You are known for your art.
Well,
Now, do you print out digital art and hang it up?
yes, yes,
Awesome,
that's the only
awesome.
option.
Well,
But
sure.
the best thing is that you can print it basically on any size, and we have a very good quality stores here that are making the frames based on the sizes of the prints, and you don't really need to have the thick canvas that usually the traditional artists are using. So they're just using the prints, and the prints is just cardboard. It's
Mm.
paper. So it's not a problem. They have a thicker cardboard that they're putting outside or on the back, so that support the painting. So it's not a problem.
So, question:
I
if
Yes.
if I or anyone wanted to order or commission, the term would be art from
Yes.
Katalina-ooma, Doctor Cat. We're gonna start calling her
I'm a small doctor
Doctor
because
Small. I'm a small
yeah,
doctor.
yeah, because
Doctor Cat. Where you know what? Just take it. Just take it. You're freaking Doctor Cat now. Just take it. How do we get how do we order custom art?
you can always DM me. You can always DM me
Direct
on
message on
Discord.
Discord.
Yeah, or you can join my Discord. I do have a Discord channel,
Can you wave
so
at
it's
your
not a
camera for
problem.
me? It went out of focus. See if we can bring her back. Oh, that's a very in focus. There we go. There we go. Gotcha.
There we go.
Got
Is
you
it?
back.
Yeah, it's
So,
working.
if you don't know about Discord or what that means, it's very important. It's a great conversation to have. If you're going to be on D Live and be a streamer and be successful, or if you even just want to be a bigger part of the community, you need to be on Discord. And it's a voice
Mhm.
and video and messaging chat service. It's free to download, it's free to use, it's free to create your own server to have people come visit and hang out with you. But Discord has one. I would highly recommend you I'm sorry, D Live has a Discord. Highly recommend you join that one. D Live has a creative Discord, which is what we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
But also Katalina-ooma, you spell her name the same, and if you start typing it in Discord, it'll pop up. Send her a
Mhm.
direct message with ideas about the type of art you would like, and I'm
Mhm.
sure as far as time to get the art back, that's gonna change depending on how busy she gets, right?
Yeah, people
And
usually wait for me. And
yeah,
I'm really blessed that many of my clients are actually really patient because I work really slow. And the reason for that is because I don't usually, well, most of the times I'm doing portraits. So if you just give me a good quality picture, I can just repaint it.
mm,
basically do it in my style. But that's only one of the things that I'm providing. So if they have some idea, if they want me to make them into a different type of character, adding details, taking off details, so it includes not only pure art, but and designing as well. So I always put more than maybe what people expect. But yeah, that's why it's time consuming thing. But
So I'm gonna do something that I normally don't do. Let's see. Hold on. Let me get this.
okay.
We gotta get this over here. Come on, computer. Work with me.
Uh,
Work with me, computer. I'm working. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Do do do
what
do.
are you
Slowly
doing?
across her face.
Putting something
Boom.
on my
Look at
head.
this. Look at this. Look at this lady's art.
You're
Incredible.
putting something on my head.
Incredible stuff. I'm just showing them your art. All right.
Okay.
So
Just
actually, you know how I found out about you was because you were working on axes and making people's favorite axes.
yes, I did.
And that's actually the first time I heard about your art. That's how I
That's
found you.
really this is really incredible because this is just one of the ideas that I did for this year. I
Okay.
don't know if
I'm ready.
you
Oh, I
can you
see.
recognize who
I
this
know
is?
who that is. That's PewDiePie.
That's PewDiePie. Yep,
Pew pew
it is.
pew.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yep, yep.
But
If you
you can
angle
also
it
see
just a
the
little bit, one way
reflection.
or the other, yeah, just angle it left or right a little, and you should be able to lose that
That's the
reflection.
problem
Little more,
because
angle more. There you go,
that's the
right there. That's perfect.
problem of the frames that has glass on top.
Hmm.
You can. Oh, I
You
think I
can
did it.
get non-reflective glass though.
I didn't want to
Okay, well,
actually. I wanted a pure glass. Where's Coco? Coco is printed, but it's not framed. I don't know why. I have so many printed pieces and I haven't framed them yet. And because I'm starting to have difficulties where to place them,
hmm.
like space deficiency.
I
I
heard
don't know
I
if you
heard
can
there's a
call it
secret
that.
drawing.
What secret drawing? I don't
Secret.
know.
There's a secret drawing that nobody's
Sir
supposed to know
Wiki.
about.
Sir Wiki is trying to confront me about something that I'm not really sure of.
I know, I'm just teasing. So
But yeah,
question.
there is.
Somebody, I don't want to forget this, but I think it was Dale brought this up earlier. He wanted to talk about your singing, your beautiful singing voice, and wanted to talk about the music, as part of the creative, D Live creative group would be musicians. And
Yes,
what are your
we have
thoughts on that?
we have rooms for musicians, for 3D artists, 2D artists, even for writers. So you can join as well.
Wait, I didn't
For
know
in
that.
for engineering as well. So
Oh.
if there is not enough channel, we can always make a room for that. So there's not a problem. But yeah, it's basically a group that everyone can join. I'm not really active there anymore, which is probably one of my own faults. But I do like singing during my painting sessions because I don't know if you noticed, but some of the streamers tend to concentrate on the things that they do on stream and forget to talk and interact
Yes,
with the people in the chat.
sometimes.
And sometimes, most of the times, when I was starting on DLive, I first tried to visit as many people as possible to see how they're set up, their equipment, how they do their like channel overlay, how they interact with people, how they welcome them, how they read the chat. Do they read the comments separately, or they just answer the questions? No, Dale, I'm not gonna make that. The first couple of months when I started my streaming, I didn't really know how to change my notifications, so I went with this default
The
quacking
quacking.
sound.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, every time someone donated, I was just quack and quacking all the time, and every time someone was in my room, they were like getting crazy because the quacking was just all over the place every day. All day, every day, as Sean usually says.
Air day.
do it. And no. So just only recently I changed my notifications, and everyone's like, "Where's the clacking?" No. Some people just got fed up with it, me included.
Well, and if you guys are listening and don't know, you can change custom alerts on DLive by using
Yes.
Tidy Labs.
Mm-hmm. So for those who don't know, Tidy, which is the community manager, I think, on DLive, he also created this website which is directly connected to DLive. And if you want a custom notifications, whether someone is donating lemon, ice cream, diamond, or uh, guinea, and ninja, you can always add this and control the sounds, the duration of the sounds,
Hmm. And you can
and
actually make your own sounds. There's a website called My
mhm,
Instance Sounds, and that'll
but I
actually.
still haven't gotten that part. I want to buy a better microphone first,
Hmm.
the one with an arm, so I can have better quality. This is the one thing that I need to improve, probably most right now. And
Yeah,
after
this.
that,
I mean, like a mic like I have sitting here on the desk is $100 on Amazon. The
mhm,
Yeti Blue or Yeti Snowball, they're all great quality mics for
but
reasonably
they're
inexpensive.
quite mm, bulky, if you ask me.
Well, they are, but just so you know, the arm to get the boom is actually doubles the price. It'll be
Mhm.
closer to 200 with the boom. But there, if you don't have the space on the desk in front of you, or you can't keep it quiet, the arm is very, very nice.
Yeah, I have very a small place, so definitely will need the arm. So yeah, one of the reasons I withdrew and unlocked most of the Lino is because of that, and to pay bills as usual, as usual. But hopefully I can invest in back in the Lino blockchain once it's on mainnet, because I am learning about crypto trading. So once it get a little bit down, let's hope it doesn't. But if it gets, that will be a good opportunity to buy. So look, there's no bad or like negative things. It's just how you perceive it. Hello,
Exactly.
welcome to the stream.
So guys, we always like to open up the interview to questions from the audience. So, if you have a question for Miss Cat, by all means, go ahead and put them into chat. It's up to her if she wants to answer them. Just know that before you ask. But is there anything that we haven't covered, Cat, that you think is important, or about you, or about streaming on D Live? We always try to say what are some things that are helpful. Definitely do this, it'll help you streaming, or definitely don't do this, it's going to hurt you. Just wondering if you have any tips.
Uh, yeah, I think I do. And they're mostly related to the personality, the person's actual character,
Hmm.
because I think that is the leading role. Many people streaming, a lot of them try to grind, as usually people like to say that. I don't really like the word, but
I don't
try
either.
to improve. Uh, Maybe it's overused. Maybe it's because of that. And maybe they're like having different meaning. But one of the things that I was studying was semantics, which is
Mm.
basically the meaning of things.
Mm.
So for me, streaming has a very deep meaning because you need to be genuine. First of all, you need to love doing this. You need to enjoy it, even if you feel that it's difficult. Maybe that proves that it's your way, your thing, because usually people like to get into a comfort zone and they don't like to get outside of it. But for me, streaming was a huge step outside of my comfort zone. Even now, after 1 year, I don't really think that I've had enough experience. I'm still facing challenges, but all those challenges, the fact that I'm going through all of them and surviving and evolving after that gives me this I don't know, satisfaction. And building friendships, building even 90% of my clients are from the D Live platform, which is really, really interesting. And most of them are my friends, most of them are family already. Uh, being in a community makes you like a whole new person from just being alone.
Oh yeah.
And this is what we are. We're supposed to be part of a community. If we were born to be alone, we would just be on a small island all by itself. But uh, just be genuine. Although you're the one who chooses how to interact with people. Do you have a role like Sean did? Sean, he created a character that people liked and loved, but he also wanted to show his true self. And I think showing his true self is far more important than building a character, because one of these days you will get tired of it and
Well,
you
he
want it to
even,
be.
we're talking about Sean Hawk, and when I started watching him, he was very heavy on the transitions and the characters and the
Yes.
overlays and the voices. And now he will still do a bit of that, obviously, because he's known
Hmm.
for that, and it's very creative and fun to see. But like what you said, Kat, I enjoy Sean, the Sean the way he is, period, like who he is as a person. And
Yes.
I think a lot of guests on this show have said that when I asked them what's the best way to be successful streaming, and they said be yourself. Just be yourself, because somebody's gonna like it. No matter, there's billions of people on this planet. Just do you.
Exactly. Exactly. And believe it or not, even the fact that we are living in a very different parts of the world with different economy, different societies, different education and knowledge, deep down inside we're the same people. Like, we have so many similarities, and this is what makes us unique, and this is what I love about internet and the streaming, because it connects you to people that you may never knew, you may never
Right.
visit and know and see them in person. I'm hoping that one day I'll have this chance. But
I mean, you're having it
um
right now. I live in
yeah,
Arkansas, in the
this
southern
is
United States. You live
yeah
in
this
Bulgaria.
this is like
We're doing it
across the
right now.
world.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
literally on opposite sides of the world, having a conversation face to face like this. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's just one of a kind thing, and I've never considered this an option, but now this is the biggest option. And it, even some of my family members are still wondering, they're scratching their heads, what is she doing in front of the camera? Why is she talking to herself like 4 or 5 hours a day? This is why. This is why, because it's, if you don't do it, if you don't experience, you can't explain that so people can actually
You know
see.
what's funny too? Don't like I live alone and my neighbor I live in a townhome, and so you can hear if you're outside the back glass, you can hear your neighbor talking some. You can't really understand them, but they know I live alone and they hear me talking to myself all the time. And I actually
Yeah.
had one of my neighbors finally say something, like who are you talking to?
Yeah.
And I
He
was
finally gathered this courage to ask you, "Are you
yeah,
okay?
yeah. And I was
Do you
laughing. I
need
go,
help?"
"Oh, I'm a live streamer." And they're like, "I don't know what that means." And I was like, "Well, it
What is
means
that?
I sit in a room by myself and talk to myself all day."
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
it's funny because you're obviously we're not alone. We have in this entire group of people here with us. But quite literally, when you look around your space, a lot of streamers are alone in the room.
Yeah.
And what's I don't know. I don't know if I should admit this out loud. It might help my insanity plea later, so I will. Um, you find yourself talking to yourself even when you're not streaming. Like once you stream a lot, you'll be at the grocery store and be like, "Oh, look, this is 2% milk, but this is 8%." And if maybe I'm like, "Why am I? Who am I talking? Why am I
You
talking
don't
to
need
myself?"
streaming. I'm gonna tell you.
You're like,
No, no, no.
"Oh,
Don't worry about that. I'm gonna tell you another scientific proven thingy,
okay."
that the two halves of the brain are also talking to each other. So people thought before the talking to yourself, it's a medical problem. It's actually now scientifically proven that it's not.
It's
It's
just
just
normal.
communicating between the two halves of the brain. I don't know if that's I don't know how they say it to uh what's the word? I forgot the word. Oh my god, I'm starting to forget all the English words. But yeah,
I think your
uh,
English is incredible.
some people think it's. I may have to Google that word. Now it's bugging me.
Yeah,
I,
I'd be interested because
as far as I
the
know, it's
brain fascinates
scientifically
me.
proved. Yeah, it is. It's scientifically proven, but it's also some people think it's not true. Do people talk to yourself? Yeah, all the time.
All the time. Welcome.
All the time. And
And if you want to
before
be a
I was,
good streamer, you have to as well. Because you're
yeah,
like Kat
training.
said, when she was on Twitter, she maybe there's nobody in the stream at all, but you still have to talk. You
Yeah,
still have to
yeah.
pretend like there's a room full of people paying attention. Because if somebody comes into your chat and you're just sitting there, right, and you're not saying anything, they're not going to stay.
Yes. One of the things that I noticed, I think I wasn't, um, I forgot to finish that sentence before, but one of the things I noticed when I was doing my research, the first maybe month or two, was the fact that I was visiting people. Maybe the period of time was back then that people didn't have that many viewers, so they didn't feel the need to talk the entire time.
Hmm.
But this is what discouraged me back then. I was visiting people and like switching from stream to stream because I wasn't satisfied with the fact that people were just concentrated on the game that they were playing, and 99.9% were game streamers. And
Right.
I was like, yeah, that's good, but those who were actually talking the entire time, those were the people that I stayed most. And I'm usually someone who never stops talking unless I'm in a bad mood and unless I'm in a large group of people, because I
Hmm.
was really introverted. But usually, if I always have something like with you as well, I always have some topic to discuss about. So on stream, I'm even made up different topics and going through a topic from a topic to another just to keep up this like this mood during the stream. And even if when you're doing a painting session, it tends to be very um, slow process, very I don't know, uncomfortable with some people. You know that the best asset or the best resource right now is time. And if you don't provide a valuable content for people, it's like you're wasting their time. So during the
Hmm.
painting, because it's a very slow process, people can go have a coffee, do a shopping, or just clean the house, go back, see the process,
Right,
and
right.
and leave again. And maybe most of my viewers are lurkers, because and it's not a problem. I see that as a simple, like normal thing. So you have to provide them with something additional, like singing or making jokes or just
Do you
talking
find
about topics.
singing affects makes you more creative or affects your
Yes,
art?
yes, because I'm concentrating on the lyrics and I'm using my hand and leaving my hand to just do what it needs to do. I usually think a lot when painting, because I think about colors, I think about um, not perception, but I think about like the whole concept of the sketch. I think about anatomy. I think about perspective, and this can mesh up into a blob that's just not doing anything for me. So once I kind of detach from all this and think about something else, like interacting with the people, I just leave my hand doing what it needs to do, and people see the result, and I see the result. Sometimes I'm excited, like from the different um, stage and the different product, because I was having something in mind, but it's totally different on the canvas,
Well,
which
something
is
that I learned from a child psychologist and actually used this with my own children when they were younger. When if you want to talk to a child about something serious, right? Say mental health or they're sad or
hmm
right. Um, if you give them art like paper and crayons or blocks,
hmm
something to stack, you can ask them questions and you will get honest, straightforward answers. If they have
yes,
something to do to distract themselves, the monkey mind, the busy mind, right? And art
yeah,
is very, very good for bleeding off extra energy and clearing your thought process. So
hmm
if you're stuck thinking and you can't figure something out, give your hands something to do that's you don't really have to think about, and that helps a lot of times. So it's interesting that for you, you're actually the art is the primary motivation, but having that secondary thing actually helps you with the art.
Yeah, it's kind of vice versa of the thing that you were talking, and it's really interesting. I love it because both ways are working,
Hmm.
and it's really really interesting. Sometimes when I'm interacting with people in the chat, I completely forget what I'm doing with my hands, like while painting. And I don't, as much I do care about the canvas as much as I can see and know going out of the shape and doing the like my usual stuff, but not really concentrating on every stroke or every like highlight and shadow.
Mm.
Just the things are building up by themselves, like, or I am thinking about them, but in not in a conscious way.
Right. So yeah, definitely subconscious. But like for me, when
Hmm.
I'm, especially when I'm painting, I love having music on.
Yes, always. If
Mm.
I don't have music, I'm just singing.
Mm.
If I have, I can sing even with music, but yeah, and if I don't, this is also really interesting. If I don't find or I'm not in the mood of listening the same music over and over again, if I get stuck with some music, can get stuck with the art as well.
Oh, interesting.
So if I find a really motivational music, like a new type of music, new style that it's really giving me a new energy, I can go back to art. Otherwise, I can get artistic. How do you say? You have
Like writer's block, but with art.
yeah, yeah,
I know the
block.
term for writers, I don't know.
Maybe artists have the same. I don't know.
It's just a yeah, it's a creative block, and it's
Mhm.
any form of art, right? Music, writing, painting, it doesn't really matter. But I think that comes down to the brain, because there's you have a very logical linear side and a very artistic side, nurturing
Yeah.
side, right? That male female yin yang thing. So I,
Yes.
I don't force my art. If I'm not feeling creative, I don't force, like, if I've had paid projects in the past, paintings and stuff, and if I'm not feeling it, I don't paint. I wait until I'm in the correct mood. And a lot of times for me, that has to be late at night. I'm more creative, and I think that there's some scientific proof with brainwaves and such, but we tend to be more creative in the evening hours.
I'm the same. And uh, usually people are always, especially here in my town and my family is always, um, I don't know, complaining about that. But yeah, I can work at the evenings more, even during the night. And during the day, I can do like everything else, doing the dishes, clean the house, pay the bills, going out and meet with people. But when it comes to this time, this is actually now my evening. I can get really creative and I can work peacefully. I can work for hours without standing and like taking breaks.
Mm.
During the day, it's really difficult. That's why I felt really relieved when I moved from office job to working from home, and from working from home with fixated period of time, like fixated hours, to working on commissions that you are the one who decides when and how many hours
Hmm.
of the day to spend. But still, as you say, some people, and even I included, sometimes don't feel like painting. Well, in this case, we have to push ourselves a little bit further because uh, if it's something that pays our bills, yes, as much as we enjoy it, we also have to create this habit. And yeah,
That's
if I
true,
tend to
but let's
slack
talk. But
too
what do you think
much,
about this, though? What do you think that will affect the reason that you create art? Right?
uh,
because I'm asking, because I went to college for 10 years for art to be a professional artist, right? But then I
yeah,
started entering juried art shows and gallery shows and these sort of things, and the business side of it absolutely drove me away from being a professional artist. I didn't want to ruin the reason why I created art or how special art was for me, right? So I actually started stepping away from commissioned pieces and juried art shows and gallery pieces and stuff because of that. So
No.
Yeah.
how do you maintain that
No.
desire to still be creative when it is a paid
No.
piece?
It's, I don't know, it's everything, I think, in the brain and how you perceive it. Because during the time when I was studying both bachelor and master's degree, I wasn't really aware how to make money from my designs.
Mm.
This is really interesting. We did have management in design, but no uh, knowledge in learning about financial education and how to make a price for your designs, for your work.
Mm.
Because as much as we enjoy and make things from heart, and because we love it, because we enjoy it, we are putting the most, like I said before, the most important asset, and this is time and effort and skills and energy, especially energy, because the brain can drain our physically our body up to 20-25%. So if you're working like for 10-14 hours a day in front of the PC, even if people are saying, yeah, you're just sitting in front of the PC, yeah, but I feel like I've been doing so much physical labor, and because the brain is actually draining you. And creative work, as much as people still, I still have problems explaining that with people, creative work can be so tiring as much as any physical one, maybe even more. So you have to be really physically good, physically prepared, and have a very active life so you can provide the energy for the mind to be creative. But back to the this financial education, you need to put a price on your work and your time and
Yes,
your skills, because
definitely.
if this is one of the proofs that you respect yourself, and that's from this point on people will respect you, because if you don't put your price, people will think that you are cheap and you work for free. I do work for free if I think the person deserves this, and if I respect the person, and I sometimes do this. This is my way of making the equilibrium, finding the equilibrium between the things, doing things for money and doing things for free because I enjoy it.
Well, I have a friend who is a professional oil painter and
Mm-hmm.
does large pieces, and he was recently rated by an international organization as an artist that actually gave him a price per square inch that his art was now worth. And I forget the name. I would have to look it up and I could find out for you if you'd like to know. But
Yes.
because he was a known artist and he had been in, galleries, and he can't keep a painting. The demand was so great for his work that he, in the
Mm-hmm.
last few weeks, actually started allowing a company to make prints of his paintings. Um, he
That's
does
amazing.
hyper realistic animals set in surreal settings, and he does a
Mm-hmm.
lot of commentary on the human condition, which I like. But yeah, it actually, and like you said, it's hard to know what a particular piece of art is worth unless you're charging by the hour, in which case nobody would ever buy art because it takes so many hours and so much time and focus to really build
Yes.
a nice piece that people with the traditional sense of, what's your time worth per hour don't
Mm-hmm.
understand.
Also, I'm lucky enough to choose the clients,
Mm, that's nice.
because especially working with people that know the price of time and the price of art, and doing a design piece and like design an art piece for them personally is really, really important. And one of the things I really enjoy with working with clients, especially people that are coming on from D Life, is the fact that um, I am basically visualizing someone else's idea.
Hmm.
And I really take pride in that. I don't know if that's good to
No,
say,
that's
but
great. That's
if
yeah.
they're satisfied with the work, I take pride in this. Although I want to like shape my own ideas, but making other people's ideas is even bringing me more joy.
Mm,
And
interesting.
uh, maybe this is the difference.
Mm,
This is the major difference. That's why I don't consider myself an artist, because usually artist is the one who is creating their own ideas when they have in the mood for that,
mm,
or when they are struggling with something, or they just want to express themselves and their personality and their perception of the world,
sure.
their inner perception, because this is how we create the world from inside out. Designer is the person who actually visualize someone else's perception of the world, someone else's ideas, based on his own skills and time.
Well, something that I learned from my like this, I got a lot of tattoos here, and all this artwork, some I drew, some my artist drew, and she actually charges $100 just to design the piece, and then charges additional money to make the piece, right? To create it or put it on you. So that's
Mhm.
something that you may even want to consider. If the conceptualization of the piece takes an extended period of time, there's a
Yes.
design fee.
I started to notice that to myself because I was until now I am charging only for the final piece, for the final project. But I start noticing recently that I'm putting more time to just make the concept, because usually the clients see that I can do changes. I can add or remove things that they don't like or they do want
Mhm.
to be removed or added. So I recently had actually a friend of mine who sent me a single selfie of his face only, and I added his face on um, build up from scratch person's body that were sitting on the D Life logo, but dressed as a gentleman with a hat, with a cane, with everything.
Nice.
So we both, he designed the coat, the jacket, the suit, like everything, even the colors. So he helped me everything to place everything in as a whole product. But to get to this to the stage of adding colors and all very like looking like a finished product, this process took me more time. If I was just using one profile or one picture and just recreating it in my style.
My that image that Best of the Worst just linked. My
It's
younger
the same.
brother actually made that and designed it, and I and myself and Worst were all involved with that. And like you were saying, we changed the color of
Nice.
the character in the middle, we changed the words, we changed the font, we changed the placement, and that's
Mhm.
why I was encouraging you, saying, look, the design. If you want something if you want to be intimately involved with the design process, there's a fee. If you want me to take your art, like your idea, and make my version of it, then you just get charged for the final product. So,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
an idea. Because again, it's
I was
about
thinking
time and
about that.
respect.
Yeah. I was thinking about that, and I think I should change that since well, maybe from the beginning of next year, because until the end of this year, there's not much time. So I'm still gonna work
Right.
on the same process. But if I see that those projects takes too much time, I will consider um, charging more.
Do you
Because
have a
don't get me
backlog
wrong.
right now?
What do you mean by that?
Do you have a number of commissioned pieces lined up?
Yes, I do, which sometimes can build up a lot of pressure, because if I don't feel quite right, as you said, sometimes I'm not feeling in the mood of drawing. This can be a lot pressuring,
Sure,
because I
sure.
know that they're on the line, and I don't really um, have the freedom to take too much like too long break.
So just to quantify a little bit, if
Hmm.
somebody is listening right now and they're interested and excited about your art and want you to do a piece, what is it going to be, a couple of months? at least before you can get to
No,
the more?
no, a couple of months, no, but a couple of weeks, definitely,
Okay.
yes.
So maybe so the reason I'm asking is it's late October. A lot of people buy presents for each other in December, right?
Yeah.
And so
They can
maybe
start from now. They can start from now because, yeah, it'll take time. Also, I work on stages, so I share every stage with the client. So if we have the sketch, I'm sharing that with the client. If I have after that the clean lines, the placing of the basic colors, the shades,
mm,
everything is shared with the client because something can happen along the way. They can have like changes. They can change or ask me to change something if they don't like. It's usual.
okay.
I don't like charging for every change because I don't think that's appropriate. Because just changing one color doesn't really makes for me doesn't really take that much time because I know the tools. But then
Sure.
again, some people do charge for every alteration because don't get me wrong, we spend years and years and years learning about a software so that we can do the project in less than than appropriate time.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So again, guys, if you're just joining us and you want to know how to get a commission piece from Kat, Discord direct message is the
Yes.
best way.
Yeah, I do have a commission sheet. I always share it, so don't worry about it. Usually, I take half of the price when I start a piece, when I share with the client that I started the piece, and the rest is when I'm finished with it and send it digitally, of course, because as much as I want to send physical copies, uh, the traveling and the cost is just not
It
reasonable
is
for me.
cost prohibitive. Yeah, prohibitive
Yeah,
for sure.
I can print it here in my town because it's less costly, but transporting it, it's just
Well,
not
that's
worth it.
actually you're kind of
Especially,
defeating the beauty of digital art that you can send it digitally.
yes, yes, that's one of the beauty and one of the best things about digital. You can make as many copies as you like. You can send it as different and in different sizes, and also reproduce it for different purposes.
Now
For
that's an
example,
well. Let me ask you a quick question.
yes.
When you create when somebody pays you to create a custom work of art,
Mhm.
are they buying the rights to that piece? Are they free to use it as they see fit in the future? Or do you maintain the digital rights to the image?
Well, I usually keep the working files. I usually keep everything in a separate folder. Every client in my on my
No,
PC has a
right,
separate
right. But
folder.
what I'm asking
But
specifically
they
is,
have,
what
well, they
could they
can
take that
use.
image and print it on a T-shirt and start selling copies of that T-shirt? See what I
Well,
mean?
yeah, nobody actually asked me about that, but I usually send them the size for the purpose they want. So
Mm,
if they want just a profile picture, I'm sending in the size for a profile picture.
mm.
So if they want to print it on a t-shirt, it's gonna be a bit difficult because the quality is gonna, yeah, show up the
Well, I'm
bad
just saying,
quality.
as an artist, you legally maintain the rights.
Illegally, yes, but you can't stop them, especially if they don't tell
Well,
you.
that's
Unless someone shows that, yeah,
that's true.
once you put something on the internet, you lose your property over it. Because even if you put what's the word, watermarks.
Watermarks, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, even if you put watermarks, I'm specialized in cleaning watermarks because of my old company. Yeah, my previous bosses had this really crazy idea that they didn't want me to be very creative. They just liked something on the internet and was asking me to take it as it is, which I really struggled with that, and yeah, that maybe that's one of the reasons why I left, because the creativity at some point just were left behind. The quantity was based on the front line, and the quality just got backed, and I didn't like that. But yeah, Usually no one asks me if they want to print on shirt, but if they do, I will always ask for, I don't know, a percentage, because this is, I do have websites that I'm providing my own pieces for printing on different assets for from on different products, but um, I've also seen some of my stuff printed without my consent, without my
Sure.
me know. So you can't. How should I say? There's maybe if it's a blockchain, this could be a proper way for you to save and be the creator that you are and have the proof that you are the creator of this piece. But usually, when you put something on the internet, you always have something in mind, in the back of your mind, that this can get stolen. Luckily, I'm not that good, so people don't really steal from me.
I would argue.
Which
I
I
would
mean,
argue that you are.
yeah, but
But
people don't really
I guess it's
usually steal from me.
more than anything. I'm saying it out loud to those that would listen, um, those that are listening, which is you can't take if an artist creates a custom image for you, you cannot then turn around without their legal permission or some sort of monetary agreement with them and use that image for anything you want. They still maintain creation rights of the art.
Yes, yes, that is for me the best way, because that's their idea, and I should um what's the word? I should agree with that, and I am agreeing with that. It's different when they want to reproduce that idea and make money off of it, like additional income.
Right. And if they go into that
Because
open about it, then you are going to create a more ideal product for them.
yes, because when you do a design for a profile picture and when you do a design for a t-shirt, it needs a bit of more time, because uh, those two things, even if have the same picture or the same drawing, it should be made, like they should be altered a little bit and made for the place that you want to use them for. That's why I always ask my clients, where do you want to place this? If it's just a painting you want to print and put on your wall, yes, I can make it in the proper size. If you want a profile picture, now I need to make the sketch. This is actually planning prior to the whole project,
Exactly.
so I know how and what type of canvas and size and then dimensions and how to place the sketch. Um, if you want for a t-shirt, the design should be very different. Even the style should be different, because it really depends on the printing, what material you're printing on, and what type of printing, what's the word, technique that they're using. This is also, so every um, sphere, as you can tell,
Hmm.
every place has a different like details that if you're not working in that area, you may not know.
Very good.
So,
Very good. So that's important to know, guys. If you're going to hire her for a piece of art, it's very important that
really,
you know
yeah, what you want,
what you're going to be doing
what you
with that.
exactly want, because yeah, sometimes uh, I can reject an offer because the client just doesn't know what to do,
Mm.
and he wants me just to make different variations so that I can prove him that it's not what he wants, and that just not justified, because the
Right.
time you spend doing it is just not going to be paid in the end.
So let's
This
talk about your schedule. Do you have a regular schedule right now for streaming?
It's very difficult to maintain that. I
Sure.
usually do. I'm trying to stream every evening, but even on my about section, you can see that I'm usually planning art streams during the weekdays and game streams during the weekends. But sometimes I just mess everything up and do whatever I'm in the mood of doing,
Sure.
which is not really good because people have their expectations. But I've also provided this sentence that up to me. It's entirely up to me and up to my state state of
Exactly,
mind.
exactly. I mean, I've noticed I used to try to force myself to stream every day, and I streamed over 100 days straight And I realized I went back and watched some of these replays on, especially on the days that I didn't feel like streaming. You can
Hmm.
tell, and the show sucks. I have low
Yeah, you feel
energy.
forced to do it.
Yeah, you can tell that I shouldn't have been streaming. And so I learned from that, and now I don't stream every day. And if I don't feel well, it's important to take care of myself as a human being, and I focus on that now.
Yeah, exactly. And as the thing that I said before, I used to grow up in this society that you always contain things in yourself. So even this actually reflects on my streaming. If I don't feel like streaming, I just don't stream. If I'm not in the mode, I just skip the streaming day. And instead of like pressuring myself and going against me, myself, and uh, let people see that. I don't want them to see that. If I'm not in the mood, I'm just gonna take a break, recover, or
Hmm.
talk with someone, spend something, and do something that makes me better, and go back and be myself in front of the camera. Is I don't really like that.
That's it, but that's
Showing
a
these
really
sides of
great
me.
it's a really great tip though for if you're listening and you want to be a streamer or you're a new streamer, take time off. If you need time off, take time off and take care of your body, right? If we just
Yeah,
sit behind these computers and never get up and never exercise and don't drink water, don't hydrate, right? Don't eat, don't sleep, it's going to
exactly.
have a negative effect in a real way on your mental
Huge,
health and physical health.
huge impact. And this is what viewers need to understand. A streamer is not chained to the stream. Like the person who is streaming, we're not chained to the streaming and to the camera. And we're real people with real problems. And if we need to, we have to take a break. Like even at the beginning, I thought of myself, I'm just gonna stream from the beginning until the end, like 4 hours straight without taking any break. Now I am starting to like fudge and do
Hmm.
some strange, like people will understand that I'm not in the mood of staying in one place for that much long
Hmm.
time. And because I was battling with my previous boss, he was against that. He was against taking breaks
Mm.
and working like 8 hours straight and be focusing on the work. No, 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 no. If you are if you want to do your work properly, do it for 2 hours or for 1 hour. Take a break. Do something even for half an hour and then go back, and you'll see that you are more productive than just pushing yourself for 4 hours and do nothing, just looking at the screen without like any productive work.
Exactly. Like, how
So
many of you in the audience are at work right now and you're supposed to be working and instead you're watching D Live?
yeah, I know it's
There's some of you. I know it is. It's funny
even
when
I should be working right now,
that's right.
but I
That's
want to
right.
play.
All right.
But I
Sorry, I'm
want to play.
distracting you from your work,
No, I won't.
but I really
Um,
appreciate it. I love that you're here. Um, I, I, as the host of this show, what's important to me is to show as many different facets of D Live as I can. And so I really, really enjoy having a person who is known as a digital artist on the platform who doesn't consider themselves an artist. I love that
yeah,
dichotomy and the how intelligent you are,
that's
and
huge.
I love how unique your perception is to you and your reality, and I really appreciate you sharing that with us.
I love the way in the panels that you're doing. I also loved what Noob was doing because he
Hmm.
also had incredible streamers on his panels. And the thing that I understand and appreciate in every person is that we can share something. Everyone can share something unique, some piece that part of us that are really really unique, and everyone and every person can learn something from the other. And I think I wrote to you in the DM yesterday. It's a lifelong learning journey. Is that how they describe it as a term? But also, when you're streaming, you kind of show one side of yourself. So they knew me as a digital painter, or digital artist, or digital like artist streamer, and so who sometimes struggle with some games, which is this is how you can categorize me and put me on a label. But we're a lot more than just labels and a lot more than just these like groups. I
Hmm.
know it's fairly easy to put something or someone and categorize them because it's easy for you to understand them, but it's a lot more complicated. The human soul is just an ocean. That's so amazing. And sharing this and be able to see other people and share your vision with them and they with you, it's just amazing. And
Absolutely.
I don't know if you noticed, but we've been streaming for how much? More than 2 hours, and I
Yep.
I didn't really realize that. I just saw my watch right now.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we're much more than CCU. I don't know about you, but I may lose my VP badge because of my streaming days. Because the streaming days is not that
Mm.
requirement is not fulfilled. For different reasons, both physical, what's the word, like being ill, having a trip, or not feeling like streaming, and having this physical insecurities and psychological insecurities, which is completely fine. I used to be feeling bad about that, but now that I appreciate more the people, and that's how it should be, not the number, the person and his feelings.
Hmm.
And I'm really blessed because some of the T Life staff members were visiting my channel a couple of days ago, and they were really accepting the fact that I wasn't able to stream. And I think these requirements, as much as I like them, because they are helping the platform categorize
Sure.
people, it's also not putting like it's how should I explain this? It's also not prioritizing. So if you explain to Tidy that you are not able to stream because of these and these conditions, he's gonna accept that and he's gonna
Yeah.
feel you and your reasons, and it's not gonna judge you and it's not gonna take your VP just because of that because he's a person himself.
Well, what's
Um,
great about D Live is that a lot of the staff and guardians and people that are actually making this run are streamers. That's why
yeah,
they're here. That's why they're passionate about this company. And so they understand 100% what it takes to be a
yeah.
streamer.
Usually, I've noticed this in many companies, not in the streaming area, but usually companies around my stuff that what I was doing. The bosses, the people that were actually in charge of the companies, they weren't a consumer of the product that they were building.
Mm,
So what I love about this and this community and the stuff, the DLab staff members, is the fact that they're actually the people that are doing alongside with us the same thing that we are producing.
hmm.
So that's why they can be put in our shoes and they can accept what we're going through because of the same reason, because they've been through this the same thing. And sometimes, Jesus, I'm sorry for the additional noise around me. This is what happens when you're not living alone.
No,
But
it's fine. We a lot of my guests have, husbands, wives, dogs,
yeah,
kids,
it's
parrots.
inevitable.
It's
It's
no problem at all. No problem at all.
yeah, I know. Yeah, and especially if they're not doing the same, they cannot understand what we're going through.
Hmm. So you
But
have
it's
a
okay.
brother.
Yeah, a
Okay.
big
Hi,
brother.
hi, big brother.
Up, they're saying hi. Yeah, he's saying hi back. Oh, he wanted me to hide my camera to close the window because it's kind of getting chilly here. So
I saw the hand early
did
in
you
the
see
interview
it?
reach in.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, guys, but I may have to hide my camera just for a little while so I can close the window
No
and
problem.
put some jacket because it's kind of getting chill here, which is not really a
Well,
good
when we
thing.
could we could wrap up the conversation too. It's up to you. I mean, I know, like you said, you didn't realize it had been almost 2.5 hours. So
Yeah, it's really amazing. If people don't have any more questions, I think I've covered so many topics. We've covered so many topics, and it's been amazing.
this is
So
great.
if you
Like
don't
I
mind,
said to you, like you were a little nervous, and I think a lot of my guests are.
yeah,
And you go, no, we're just gonna have a conversation, and then you watch. It's gonna be hours later before you realize it.
Yeah, I agree. I can still go on talking, but
Okay,
it's it's the content, the quality and the content,
that's
not
a
the
that's a good point.
yeah,
Well, you know what?
not how many
Let's
hours.
just get her out of here. We're done. We're done. We've got everything
Okay.
we wanted from her. Uh,
Well,
just teasing,
I
just
hope.
teasing.
I
I
hope.
actually, when are you going to be live again? Because I'm sure people would like to
I
see more.
I kind of this is one of the topics that I don't usually speak about when be in other people's stream, because I've done some streaming sessions, like teaching sessions, and some of the rules and etiquette that you're not supposed to say in other people's stream. But because you asked me directly, I will say I may do a stream right after that because I want to play some Warframe.
Okay.
Uh, and also, I need to try and improve my streaming days a little bit as much as I can until the end of the month.
Well,
But if anyone
go
wants to
live,
join,
if you want to go live right now, well, I will host you. If you'd
no.
like, I'm serious.
No,
If
no, no, no. I'm gonna take a little bit break after
okay,
this,
okay.
and then I'm gonna try and stream myself. Yeah,
Very
maybe
good.
for an hour or two. No, not too much, because it's getting late here, and
Mm,
usually, yeah, when you're alone, you can just stream how much as you can, and during the night without,
mm,
um, what's the word? Without having problems with people around you.
for
But
sure.
when you're living with other people, yeah, you have to accept their regime and they have to uh,
Mhm. No,
accept
no,
yours
that's
as
a
well.
good. Uh,
Difficult.
that's a good point. And if you have a family and you have roommates and you have kids, then yeah, that definitely comes up.
Yeah.
So it's something to
That
consider.
affects that affects us
Well,
in a
then,
lot. But swimming is another thing that affects our life as well.
yes, yes. Okay, well, again, I would like to just thank you once more, Katalina-ooma, for being here with me today.
Thank you so
Um,
much for everything, Joe. It's been a huge honor. I told you I felt honored, but I also felt that it was really, really amazing for me, and I felt ready. This time I felt ready. If that was like a couple of months ago, I would have considered like rejecting your offer because I wasn't
mhm.
feeling really, yeah,
And
really
that's
ready.
fine. That's fine. That's what I tell the streamers. You accept when you're ready to be on the show. And
Yeah,
no pressure, right? It's just going to
yeah.
be a nice chat. We're going to hang out. So again, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for everything.
If you don't mind just hanging out for 1 second for me, I'm going
Yes.
to say goodbye and I'll be right back with you.
Okay. Can I turn off my camera though?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much for everything, everyone. Hope you have an amazing time and see you in a bit if you want to join my stream. Thank you again, Joel. It's been an amazing ride. And if you haven't followed him or subscribed, please do. I think I haven't subscribed it, but
Well,
see you
if
again.
you'd like to know when we have more fireside chats, definitely follow. And if you would like to be a part of my Discord and get alerts, in my about section, there's a link to Discord, also exclamation point Discord and chat, Facebook, Twitter, any of those, YouTube. You will get the links. But again, this has been a fireside chat. Today's guest was Katalina-ooma. Kat for short. Petya is her name. She's a beautiful soul, and she is an incredible artist, even though she would tell you she's not an artist. And you could find her on D Live. But again, thank you guys for being here. I'm going to be uploading this to YouTube, and you can watch it in its entirety if you've missed any part of this up till now. I'm also going to find somebody to pass you off to, guys. Let's see who's on that I believe you would all enjoy. Let's see. I don't know that there's any chat streamers on that I follow at the moment. In here, all kinds of great. There's a ton. There's so it's funny. There's so many amazing streamers online that it gets hard to know who to host. Um, how about we go see my friend? He is an alumni of the Fireside Chats. His name is Lord Amish. He's a variety streamer and gamer streamer. and just an all-around great dude. So guys, thanks again for being here. I love you all wherever you are on this planet. I wish you the best, and I'll see you again soon. So aloha for now. All right, so